Welcome to English for All with Khadija USA, learning step by step at your own pace.
Eyes Open 3, Unit 3, Lesson 16, Art All Around Us.
Welcome back to Eyes Open 3, Presentation Plus, designed for 9th grade. Open up your students' books, Unit 3, Art All Around Us. Student Book, page 117, CLIL, Unit 3, Art Perspectives. Section 1. Work with a partner or individually. Look at the paintings. Can you see anything unusual about them? Go ahead and take a listen. Read the information about perspective. Check your ideas about the paintings. Section 3, read the information again and answer the questions. Section 4, go ahead and listen to the teacher and students in an art class. Which of the following do they mention? Go ahead and complete this exercise and then go through your corrections and enjoy the video Art in Perspective.
CD 1, Track 54. Listen to the information. Perspective. In the past, pictures of people, places and things didn't look like they do in real life. They looked flat and out of proportion. In the 13th century, artists began to produce lifelike images by giving their pictures perspective. When we look at things around us, they are three-dimensional, 3D. They have volume and depth. An artist uses perspective to create a representation on a two-dimensional, 2D piece of paper or canvas of how we see things in real life, with space, distance and depth between the various objects. Foreshortening objects gives the impression of perspective. The artist reduces the size of objects in a picture as they follow the viewer's line of sight into the distance. These lines converge in vanishing points on the viewer's horizon, and the objects become too small to see. This makes parts of the image appear far away in the background or close to the viewer in the foreground. CD 1, Track 55. Listen to the conversation.
Today's class is on something called perspective and how we can use this in our painting. So, who knows what perspective is? Yes, Sandra.
It's the way we make a picture look three-dimensional.
Yes, that's right. There are lots of ways to create the illusion of perspective, but we're only looking at the basics today. When we want things to look further away from the viewer, in the background, we foreshorten them. We draw them smaller than things closer to the viewer. We make them bigger in the middle ground and biggest of all in the foreground of the picture. Foreshortening creates an effect of distance between things. But how do we know how big or small to make things?
Is it something to do with the horizon?
Yes, it is, Mary. If we stand and look in one direction, everything seems to point in that direction and get smaller and then disappear on the horizon. These are our lines of sight, which meet at a vanishing point. If we draw lines from the top and bottom of things in the foreground to a vanishing point, we know how small to draw things in the background.
Can there only be one vanishing point?
That's a good question, Nick. It depends. There's only one when we look straight ahead, along a road, for example. But there can be 2 points when we want to show 2 sides of something, like a house. And there can be 3 if your line of sight is below or above the thing you are drawing. like looking up at a tall building or looking down a hole. OK, so it's your turn to try now. Open your drawing pads and get your pencil.
Art in Perspective. Europe in the 14th century. This is the beginning of the Renaissance, a time when Europeans made great advances in the areas of art, astronomy, science, architecture, and mathematics. The Renaissance began in Italy. There, rich families like the Medicis gave large amounts of money to artists. This created an explosion of art. It produced some of the world's most famous artworks by the world's most famous artists. Renaissance artists wanted their art to be as realistic as possible. Science helped them do it. Before the Renaissance, European paintings looked flat. The size of objects or people was based on importance. The more important something was, the bigger the artist made it. The flat paintings were often beautiful, but Renaissance painters wanted their art to be three-dimensional. They wanted people and objects in the painting to look real. For example, take two circles of different sizes. For an artist of the Middle Ages, one circle is larger because it is more important than the other circle. But for Renaissance artists, the big circle is bigger because it is closer to the viewer. The smaller circle is further away. Across Europe, painters began to use perspective in their work. Filippo Brunelleschi was the first Italian to use perspective. He created a painting of this building. It was so realistic that viewers were often amazed at how similar it was to the actual building.
Workbook page 34, Unit 3 Review. Go ahead and complete this review accordingly. Vocabulary. Art around us. Circle the correct options in number 1. Instruments. Put the letters in order to make musical instruments in section 2. Language focus, present perfect for indefinite past time. Section 3, match the sentence halves. Section 4, complete the text with the present perfect form of the verbs in brackets. Section 5, write present perfect sentences and questions with ever and never. Workbook page 35. Language Builder, Section 6. Complete the conversation with the missing words. Circle the correct options. Vocabulary Builder, Section 7. Circle the correct options. Section 8. Put the sentences in the correct order to make a conversation. Workbook, page 36. Get it right, Unit 3. Section 1. Find and correct 3 more mistakes with been and gone. Section 2. Are the sentences correct? Correct the incorrect sentences. Section 3. Put the words and phrases in the correct place in the table. Do a drawing. What do you do? A presentation, or make a presentation, or take a presentation. Go ahead and put those phrases in the correct places in the table. Section 4. Write the correct past simple and past participle form of the verbs.
Thank you for watching this video. See you again. Please don't forget to tick subscribe, like, and hit the golden bell for more videos. See you in the next video.